Hello everybody!
We are live. Ooh,
Hopefully.
live and not in sync. You forgot your t-shirt, Pete.
Oh, what is it? I could go topless.
No.
Oh.
No, thank you.
Hello, we're live again.
Hello.
How are you all?
How is everybody?
This is volume 6.
Volume
of
6.
The Agents Live.
Are you going to count every single one? Are you always going to say?
Yes.
Okay.
Even when we get up to the
enough.
hundreds.
Yep, fair enough.
Episode 3,642 and we've got 12 people today.
Well, it's just a suggestion. Maybe we should start doing them by date.
Yeah,
So
that
you
might
can
work.
look, so you can look back over them. Just a
Alright,
thought.
then
Now
we
we're
come
up
to
to
you
6.
live. It's June 2018, 2019.
Brilliant.
Oh well.
Okay, let's just stick numbers.
Yeah, I can't do dates. Hello everyone, how are you all today? We're all looking rather good. You've been on holiday
I
recently?
have been on
haven't you?
holiday, yes.
I've been
yes.
holiday, not together,
No.
separate locations,
holidays.
but we managed to time it the same at least, so that
Yes, our wife don't let us go away together. Although
No.
we are going away to the Grand Clash.
we are.
Together. We're sharing a room and everything.
Dear. That's unless snow suddenly happens again.
In July.
Like the first time.
In July, hopefully not.
Well, you know what the weather's like in this country.
It's true.
Last time we tried to get to a Grand Clash, we nearly got there, and then snow ruined it all for us. We've got some people on YouTube as well already. We've got lots of people on Discord. Our patrons are there saying hello. We've got hello from Italy. We've got hello from Sheffield. We've got hello from Ed. It's not a place, it's a person. Hello, Ed. Hello, everybody. We're online. There's 11 of you watching us. That's
I
mad.
didn't know, Andrew, but you were in Sheffield. I don't know where I thought you were, but I didn't know you were in Sheffield.
It's just, that's brand new information. I don't know what to do with.
Yeah.
So we're going to smash on. We'll crash on with all our questions. We've got some questions for our patroners. Anybody else who has any questions, you can feel free to chuck them out at any point during the chat in Discord especially, or YouTube if you haven't got access to our Discord, and we will answer away with whatever we've got.
Okey-doke.
So, one of our very first questions asked was by Rob. He did ask us, how did the Grand Clash go? It was a little bit early.
It's gone well so far.
It's so far awesome.
Unbeaten.
Haven't lost a game. But the one question he did ask, which was relevant, which is, what's your view on the idea that newer warbands have it easier than older warbands in terms of glory and cards, possibly excluding Eyes of the Nine and Godsworn, and what could be done about it? We have mentioned this before, that we think that some of the older warbands...
Well, I meant to
struggle a bit
swat
more.
up on the stats, and I forgot that I meant to do
Then I
that.
could be bothered.
Well, there's a whole load of stuff coming out because they the UKGE Grand Clash was all done on that whatever it's called, West Coast pairings.
Oh,
whatever
West
it's
Coast
called.
pairings, yeah.
It's not called. Well, that's not what it's called. I don't know.
West Coast pairings?
Best Coast,
something,
not West Coast.
Something coast pairings.
Yeah, it's
I'm
some
gonna
sort of surfing dude type thing.
Keep talking. I'm just going to do some quick audio management.
Audio management.
Audio management.
Okay.
Shut the door.
Oh, shutting the door. I see. So we can't hear you screaming kids. Yeah, so the Jonathan at Wigglehammer has been pumping out the stats for the tournament, and it did very much show that the new warbands fared much better than the old warbands. Even the Godsworn Hunt, one team got. I did notice they were bottom, but one team also got quite a long way. Did quite well.
There's only one Sepulchral Guard warband as well.
Yeah, and I think so. Clearly there is some scope creep.
I do wonder about that. I don't know how much of it is just shiny new syndrome. But then the Cursebreakers were still in there as quite a large force as well. So.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more range. People have talked about range. There's a lot more range in the new warbands.
And I do think some of the older warbands like the Oryx and Fuel possibly suffer a little bit.
Yeah, I mean if you compare the guys you just said, the Dwarden, the Fire Slayers.
Fire Slayers.
If you compare the Fire Slayers with the new dwarfs, they're just I know they haven't got anybody who's quite as good as Tefk or Fuel possibly, but I
don't know,
they
because
have 5.
Thundrick's got 5 wounds
Yeah,
once he's
that's true.
inspired, so
But they have a much easier inspire condition.
they do.
And are there 5 models versus 4?
Yes, 5 versus 4.
Yeah, 5
I think the Fire Slayers might have more base wounds on them.
Right, but
I do.
you've got
I
an
do
extra
agree.
model with lots of range.
Yeah,
And a much easier inspire condition. So I think, why would you ever, unless you like the models, why would you ever take the Fire Slayers if you were trying to win?
I do wonder.
Over the Thundrick.
Fuel can be a bit of a powerhouse because he can
Tef's
gut to like 4 damage.
Tef's your man.
Tefk is also, yes, once you get him inspired as well, he can be very, 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 very violent. So, yeah, I do think there is a scope creep there. There is a level of feeling their way with the warband setup as well.
And the Oryx are pans.
Yeah, they are these days. They're not so good.
I know there's a bit of
needs to be a new Oryx Warband in the next season, I think.
I know there's no rivalry there really, but you've got John, who's now one team away from doing a class with all of them, versus Aman, who's probably 3 or 4 away. But John got his Oryx and things off early. Yeah, which sounds a bit ruder than I meant it to be.
Get him off early.
I think Aman's won with the Oryx yet, so I think he's going to have his work cut out to try and do that now.
Oh, we have a hello from South Africa.
Hello.
South Africa. Not all of you, obviously, just the people watching. Zach. Yeah, I do think that come the next season round, they're going to possibly have to get rid of some of the season 1 warbands, or just going to have to accept that some of the season 1 warbands are just never going to really be used that much.
Yeah, it's a shame.
How they can do something about it, I don't know. Whether they can re-release the warband cards.
They could do new faction cards.
They could do new faction cards, make the Oryx a bit better.
Yeah.
Because the Oryx are a bit lacklustre, especially, I know we're picking on the Oryx, but they are a bit lacklustre. And people like, is it Bone Hacker, the one who has the hit everybody attack when he's inspired? Bone Cutter, that's it. There's Hacker, Basher, and Bone Cutter.
Yeah.
He's pretty naff when he's inspired. He's still not that great. No. And the others get a cleave or a knockback, I think, but that's maybe about it. And I think they might have to roll crits for it. They're not great. They're not great.
And even their inspired condition, compared with some of the others, is sucky. And it's fairly easy to do, but it's got to take a wound. And that it's so. Oryx came 5th at the Moscow Grand Tournament, Steelheart first, which is odd. Any thoughts on this? Well,
the Moscow Grand
probably blame fake news and
Putin
puppet accounts on Facebook. I think that's probably caused that. No, I've no idea. I don't know. Maybe their meta's different.
Could be.
I don't know.
I do like that about Shadespire overall. That in general, most warbands can, for the most part, stand up against other warbands.
What's that? Sorry.
Most of the time, most warbands have a fair chance against most other warbands.
I think they just average out. The older warbands are just weaker. It's not that they can't win, but I think if you over a large number of games, they will tend to
and they'll struggle a bit more.
Yeah,
and I think things like Sepulchral Guard are definitely. They've got a few good tricks, and I think if you go offensive with them and you put everything on like the champion, you keep getting him killed and rezzing him so you can charge him again and stuff. But they're
they're
quite squishy. They might bleed glory.
Exactly. Well, I'm not sure. I mean, you keep hoping. You keep saying in vain that the Sepulchral Guard can come back. But to be honest,
then Nightvaults came out and they've
always been a bit shit. Sepulchral Guard, to be fair.
Yeah, they did win a Grand Clash. I think it was the day they were released.
And he was the only person who'd ever played with them.
It was Rupert at GW. He played tested them, I think. So it's like, and even then they only just won. So. So hopefully that might sort of answer your questions, Rob. We do think that there is a difference, and that newer warbands do seem to have it a bit easier.
We have the stats to prove it.
And I think we do have the stats. The stats are out there to prove that. I think for the most part, the old warbands, whether it's due to new shiny syndrome or whatever it is, the new warbands are suffering a bit more.
Yeah, I think the saving throws or armour defences are better on most of the new warbands as well. There's 2 dodges,
except for maybe Godsworn, but they're designed to die anyway. They're not really meant to survive. But I mean, even like the Nighthaunts, they all end up with 2 dodges, or they start with 2 dodges.
The cleave is so prevalent now. Your one shield,
Fire Slayers and Oryx,
and even your 2 shield Stormcast.
Yeah, they are starting to suffer a bit more. There we go. He did then ask a follow-up question, which was how we found the experience of playing competitive games versus optimised games. And I don't think we can comment on that yet, mostly because we've only played one competitive game.
And our deck wasn't honed to a point, as there, but I think
no, it wasn't
decent. I mean, we always try and play with decent decks, but I suppose we've never tried to hone them.
I think you have to have multiple iterations of games to really hone a deck, and if we did that, I think for you guys at home, it would just be dull.
Yeah.
Because you just see this week we're playing these
two cards.
Again. Exactly,
I've changed 2 cards.
I haven't changed any cards.
So I mean that's a bit of a handicap going into the Grand Clash, I think, but we'll live with it.
Yeah, I'm not going to the Grand Clash
for the crack, really, aren't we?
We are. Yeah, we are. That's a phrase, by the way.
That's just because we're sharing the hotel room.
So Rob, hope those answered your questions, and we're moving on to Andrew Marlowe. I believe Andrew is online and watching us today, right now as we speak. So here is questions for the live chat. Are we looking forward to or dreading the Grand Clash?
Both, yes.
Yes, in equal measures. Absolutely terrified.
I think it's not equal measures. It's kind of like there's 2 curves, and like the
sine wave and a cosine wave.
Looking forwards up here, and then the dread is here, and they'll cross over in about 2 weeks before.
And on the day we'll just be catatonic wrecked.
Yeah. So yes, I am looking forward to it, but I'm not dreading it yet, but I will be when the time comes.
I suspect, there will be more terror will start to surface near the time. But I'm looking forward to meeting a lot of you guys.
Yes.
It would just be nice to see people.
Yes. Well, I met a random person. I don't know if they're watching, but hello if you are. A random person at the UK GE, and I'm not talking about you, Ed, because you weren't random. Just come up to me and said, "Oh, you're Robin from Agents of Sigmar." And
did they?
Yeah.
Awesome.
And that would be really cool to not to have that, but just to meet people who do watch us and enjoy the channel and talk to them about what they like and stuff.
So if you do see us at the Grand Clash,
Which you should do, unless we go home early.
Unless we just don't turn up in the end. But if you do see us there, do come up and say hello, because frankly, it'd just be nice to have some people who can come and go, "Oh, I watch your channel, I don't think you're that shit."
Yeah.
And then we go, "Oh, thank God. Oh, you're
I love all the mistakes you make.
Yeah.
They make me
I
happy.
think they're brilliant, because they show that you're human and just like me.
But if you do want to throw games, then that's fine too.
Yeah. So, next question. If you could design an Inspire condition, what would it be? Oh, we covered this.
This is what happened,
Robin's prepared.
I did. I wrote some stuff down.
Mm.
I think I've done the questions out of order though, because that's not the first one I've got. I couldn't think of much, and this is I'm not very good at thinking of what rules might come, and I think that's been quite neat on GW's part. They have thought of interesting Inspire conditions. Most of them, I think,
Some of them are a bit unfair to others, but yeah.
So the one I've come up with is having supporting fighters.
Mm-hmm.
So you can inspire if you're a supporting fighter.
Yeah.
So sort of having a warband that's based on kind of helping each other out.
Swarming your opposition.
And kind of being the supporter rather than
I kind of thought that would be something that Skaven would have.
Yeah.
But, or you could have a successful attack from range, maybe.
Yeah,
Something
but
like
I did think of that, but then I thought there's so much range attack that I don't really want another warband with more range. I think they need to tone down the range a little bit.
True.
And also Navia and people have got that already.
They do. That is true. I completely forget about Na'vi, Josh, because they don't.
Because they die before it gets fired. You inspired? No, I'm dead.
But inspiring dead.
Mm.
Yeah, there is that. What other ones could you have? I know we went through this a bit before, and we came up with a few, because you've got having an upgrade applied, and having a ploy applied to you, and you've got having wounds removed.
Winning scoring an objective is now a new one.
Yeah.
Also, obviously, being on an objective has been done.
Yeah.
Being brought back from the dead.
Yeah.
Casting spells has been done.
Yep. Saving.
Reaction. What's the healing? Losing the opposite of healing, being damaged. So they've kind of done. So I think I struggle to think of what else you. Could do.
Until they do something, and then you go, oh yes, obvious one. I mean, there's
supportive fighters,
16 warbands.
Making a move action, but it'd have to not be a charge action. Otherwise, it'd be, no, it couldn't have to be. But yeah, moving. But that just seems a bit silly.
That would be
moving,
really easy.
moving.
Yeah, that would be a bit easy. But then I guess in those situations, the inspired version wouldn't be particularly much better than the uninspired version. But that'd be a bit dull, really.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, so I can't think of a new mechanic.
No,
off the back of what they've got. But of course, if they're going to cycle out some warbands, which they may or may not.
Anybody got any suggestions? Oh, going on guard.
Going on guard. Yeah.
Ed says there's plenty of crack in Nottingham.
Okay.
Not once we're done. Going on guard's a good one. You could do that. I reckon
they're not terribly exciting.
You could do one where you end up
guard.
not next to an opponent at the end of a turn when you start next to them. So running away.
Yeah, though again, not very exciting.
Not massively exciting. No. I am struggling to come up with really exciting things. And the trouble is, the more exciting you make it, like rolling a crit, you make it less likely to happen. And it's really frustrating with the triples. When you're trying to get those crits off.
Yeah, I mean, at least that's not for inspiration, but it's for reactions.
Well, it is kind of for
it is. Yes, it is.
If she rolls that crit, then when casting, she gets the wound back and heals, but she doesn't need it. But it's the same kind of thing. So, yeah, I'll be interested to see if they just start repeating some of those things in the later war.
I feel like if they want to really put a nail in the Fire Slayer's coffin, they could just have standing on an objective at any point in time.
Yeah, not standing on an objective. Screw you, dwarves. So the next question was, any news on Dreadfane?
No,
not
apart from the fact that Ed painted our models and they arrived. I met Ed at the weekend at the UKGE, and he gave them to me, and I unpacked them today and I put some photos on.
Photos online.
Patron Facebook and things. So
Cool.
yeah, they're really good. Thanks for those, Ed. And
We've
I
not
will
heard-
he also did the silver there for me, and I'll put those on Instagram, such like tomorrow.
Very nice. But we've not heard a thing. They've not said anything
No,
other than going, killing a character. Andrew suggested for, or being on guard for a number of phases. Ed suggested as well. Killing a character's could be quite a good one, although tougher to do unless you're up against a grot wall.
Yeah, imagine if you come up against Stormcast.
Turtling Stormcast.
Yeah.
Well, I want to be inspired anyway. Fine. Killing a character, possibly. Yeah. But yeah, Dreadfane. Not Snozzage. We haven't heard anything yet. They haven't released any
I'll just check there's
information
nothing on here
to us or to anybody else.
I really need to. When we do these, I really need to change the lockout time on my phone. Oh, nobody said anything on.
No.
Visage. Good. And what's it called? Discourse.
The next one, Andrew asks, is what happens after your goal of £350 a month is reached?
Bahamas.
$350 a month. Yeah, Bahamas. Yeah, that's going to be
Hawaii. Sorry.
it's going to be a pretty economy flight situation for $350 a month. Well, when we get $350 a month, hopefully we'll start to do a live game.
That's the pledge level, is a live match, isn't it?
Live,
that's what it says.
That's what
There's
it
a
says.
few technical issues around that. We need different
Definitely
cameras,
kit.
and probably better PC and better internet connection in my garage. But we can hopefully with the $350 a month, we can hopefully overcome those.
When Warhammer Underworlds Online comes out, maybe the live games could be Warhammer Underworld Online live games, because that would make life a bit easier.
Yes, Jacob has suggested a good inspire could be ending on an edge hex in the end phase.
Oh yeah, edge hex, or maybe that no man's land.
No man's land, yeah, possibly.
Although that gets much more difficult if you're on offset or a lengthways board. But yeah, edge hex wouldn't be that bad.
No.
So yes, once we get to that $350 a month, our plan is to do one live game a month, and maybe we tie it in with our live broadcast. We could maybe do a live broadcast / live game.
Yeah, problem with that might be lighting. All the lighting's in the garage, and we do the live things here.
Possibly,
but that's just thinking out loud. I mean, alternative is that we just do one live evening, one live Wednesday a month.
Yes, we could.
A month.
Yeah, we could do our live broadcast on a Wednesday and do the live game on there, and we just got to get internet out to your shed.
Yeah,
just need a really long cable. And then the next question is, what makes Shadespire more fun, interesting than other games we've played? I'd say, I don't know about you. Personally, I don't think I find it less interesting or fun, but it is faster to play. And
I'm glad you don't find it less interesting than other games, otherwise we're playing the wrong games.
Sorry, I don't find the other games less interesting.
Oh, I see.
I just think it's because it's much more accessible and fast to play.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on which games you're talking about. I mean, there's some games I love to play, never do anymore. From a Games Workshop perspective, it's just the speed of setup and takedown.
Yeah.
But I think it's also it hits, and this one I'll come up with this in another question as well. But it kind of hits 3 sweet spots.
The holy triumvirate.
Done for a long time either.
There's 3.
It's the cards, the figures. That's only 2, and the dice. They are kind of
Yeah.
I like elements of all of that, but actually I find just card games a little bit dull. I played a deck building game. Actually, top tip: if you ever demonstrate a game at a convention like UKGE and you're trying to get somebody to play the game, don't destroy them. I played a deck building game against this. Against this lovely lass who absolutely wiped the floor with me. And then she told me she played it every 3 months. She played it every night for 3 months or something.
Oh, well, there we go.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You've got to take into account like the child factor. You know, if you're trying to get a kid interested in a game, let them win the first.
Well, I don't want to play this game anymore.
No, it's rubbish. I've just got hammered by you. I don't want to play this stupid game anymore.
But anyway, I forgot. So yeah, but I find because we played Keyforge, it was quite nice.
Jacob Pank got a Warhammer themed tattoo, and would we get one? I'll come on to that in a moment.
Okay. Although we quite enjoyed Keyforge, it didn't quite have the interaction for us. Certainly for the engagement on the screen for the videos.
Yeah.
Because I think I quite like that slight random element of the dice.
Yeah.
But also the models. I mean, we all come at it from a Games Workshop angle, and so the models there. So it's that. I think it's that.
Sorry,
it's that sweet spot of
not too many models.
Yeah.
but you get some cards. There's a deck building. There's still the randomness of dice, faster setup, all that kind of fun.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably what beats all the other options for us. Only because all the other options take so long to set up, and you have so many models. And I'd love to be able to play a massive AOS game or a massive 40k game with all the sweeping scenery and massive tanks and all that kind of thing.
Sorry,
but,
Rupert just said hi, guys. I was waving.
But it's, when we tried to play that on the channel, it was it just took so long. And whilst it was fun, the games we played, it just takes so long, and I don't think either of us have got the attention span.
No, I don't enjoy it so much because it's too. I actually hadn't really realised this until I started playing Underworlds. I also like Underworlds is you've got a defined area. Well, no, you've obviously got a defined area, but you've got, and you haven't got that
over on the shelf.
And you haven't got that kind of like, when I'm going to move this so many inches, and you kind of end up shuffling them all over. You've got a very defined. You move from this hex to this hex.
Yeah,
everything is clear.
Yeah,
and there's no like, oh well, actually, can I hit? Oh no, I can hit. Oh, I can't hit. Oh, these 6 can hit, but these ones can't at the back.
Yeah.
And so, I just.
Although the later versions of 40k have done away with a lot of the faff, so there's a lot less faff usually involved.
Yeah.
But I agree. There's
just things, those silly things like you've got your scenery which looks great, but then you can't stand the models on it. So then it just that whole thing.
It ruins the illusion a little bit.
It's kind of like this is just a clearly defined area, and you play on it, and everybody knows where they stand. There's no arguing, and then there are arguing over card interactions.
Tommy says 9-9.
Yes, that's right. Yes,
you were right. That was indeed Brooklyn 9-9 intro.
You've got no haggling over board state very often. You might have arguments over cards, but no haggling over board state, which you can get in big games. And there's no, again, you've got the deck building element, but there's no kind of cheese. You can't have cheese in Warhammer Underworlds because everybody's got access to the same stuff.
The only cheese that you have is that you do the optimal list, and that's all about net decking, which we'll come on to in a little while. So
but everything. Okay, you've still got that problem of buying everything, but everything is available to everybody.
No, I just mean that you could make an ultimate sort of almost unbeatable deck, as it were, or the most efficient deck. I mean, there's more than one way to skin a cat, but you can make an optimal Uber deck to play with, but everyone can do that. There's not really any blocking there. It's not like you can make an army that utilises a couple of special rules for these particular units and just makes them annihilate everything. So that's probably why we prefer. I mean, I'd like to play Blood Bowl as well, but Robin's not a fan of that one, so it could be that I try and find someone else who wants to play Blood Bowl and do that. Or if we can get the right kit to be able to do online games, I might play Blood Bowl online and stream that online, because I think that has a similar element to it that Underworlds does, in that it's a defined area. You have your models, and you have only limited number of models, and the dice play quite a large factor and can add a serious level of randomness to it and stuff. So
Matt says he doesn't think you can ever make an unbeatable deck in this game. There are too many counters to making one ultimate deck.
That is true, and I think whenever one particular playstyle comes out as being incredibly strong, a lot of people start doing it, other people will start coming up with a counter to that, and that's how the meta's just going to keep evolving and churning. So and very quickly, one of our patrons asked, would we ever get a Warhammer related tattoo?
Oh yeah.
Just to interject quickly, whilst I have a tattoo, I don't think I'd ever get a Warhammer related one. It depends though, because there are some
AOS logo.
There's some iconography.
It's a Sigmar logo.
Obviously, that's already on my back. We were getting those full back tattoos, weren't we?
Yes, that's right. Absolutely. I'm getting mine done next week, and you've done yours. That's right.
Oh God. But some of the iconography of some of the warbands does look nice enough. It mostly
I have an Eyes of a Nine tattoo.
Yeah.
Then I might struggle to get into different countries and things.
Possibly, yeah. But then a lot of it ends up devolving to like skulls or swords or things like that.
I don't think I ever. What did you have, Jacob?
Yeah, let us know what you had, Jacob. Interesting to see.
Yeah.
Mine's just text on my arm, and it's not game related.
I'm just too much of a wuss, and my wife will probably leave me if I have a tattoo. So,
or maybe she'll be like, Robin's all daring and dangerous now with a tattoo. Ooh.
And then leave me.
I don't like this.
She didn't marry me for my daring and dangerousness.
If she did, then what was she doing?
Compared with her, I'm wild.
Okay, and moving on to the next question.
I occasionally forget to lock the back door, for example.
And another question Andrew asked was, if there was another warband that we think GW could redo, what would it be and why?
Oryx
Or Sepulchral Guard, I think.
Or Dwarfs.
or maybe.
But
Fire
maybe
Slayers.
I think the Fire Slayers was just purely their Inspire condition. I think it should be when they finish on an objective.
I think so. Yeah.
Or maybe if they're still on an objective after at the beginning of a turn.
activation.
At the beginning.
Oh
of a
yeah,
turn.
a bit like the Nightvault one. So anybody on
so
the
you
objective
have
at the
got
start of the turn.
your opponent's got one chance of, or two chances of knocking you off.
Yes.
Two
I know what you mean.
two power phases and a movement phase to knock you off. But
Yeah.
basically, at the end of a. That's what. But I think Oryx need a major overhaul.
Or Spell Guard or Fire Slayers, I think there.
Mm.
If we could design an objective card, a card that scores glory, what would it be? I want some kind of score immediately when you're standing on 3 objectives. Get 2 glory.
Yeah. That's basically what I've put.
No, I wasn't copying.
But I think just generally, I think there's another question about what would you change for Shadespire 2.0.
Yeah.
And I would like to see more area control things in the game. So like objective ones, maybe just having 3 people adjacent to an objective.
Oh yeah.
Or something like that. Or you get extra glory if you control an objective in your opponent's half. It doesn't matter which one it is, but you've actually got a reason to go out and attack it, and hold it, and so it gives it a bit more of a narrative, I suppose. But
you know what would be even cooler? Having an objective card which maintains each round. So you play at the end of the first round. I'm standing on objective 5. I get glory for that. That stays in play at the end of round 2. If you're still standing on it, you get 2 more glory.
Yeah.
And then that suddenly becomes this focal point. You've got to keep that whole held for the next round.
Yeah,
and then
it's a bit like the relic that they've done away with.
Kind of, kind of.
Whatever that was.
Yeah, that kind of thing. The Cataphrane Relic challenge that you had. But you had that kind of thing where and then that would focus you more on, right, I want to keep these objectives now. I want to bring people up and protect
I also wouldn't mind seeing some sort of extreme flank. Again, that's area control type of thing. So you actually, but properly defined, but literally from the 2 furthest sides of the board.
Yes.
Or maybe even you've got to have one at each end and the middle, or just something. Or not even that one where you've got to have the people in no man's land. If that was worth 3 glory. That might be worth. That might be worth having.
It's only like 2, I think, and it's just
it might only be worth glory. 1. I can't
remember,
but it's not very good.
It's so little that it's like, why would I go for that when I could just go for any of these other objectives that are 100 times better?
The only problem with it I can see is that the keys are very powerful, and so if you add in some heavy duty objective based deck, like your idea of being on the if you then add the keys in as well, it might mean you can have a massive onslaught of glory. I don't know. I don't play enough key decks or have played against enough key decks to know how that would work. But you can seriously ramp up the.
It'd be an all or nothing kind of thing in that situation, wouldn't it? You're either going to win by landslide or you're going to get crushed because you just can't keep those objectives.
So I don't know, but that's I'd like to see more objective play. I mean, you could get around that if you had ones which were to do with being adjacent to objectives. Then you couldn't score those and the key necessarily.
That's true. That is true. The next question, which kind of comes on from that a bit more, which is how do you stop yourself from making similar decks from 4 different warbands?
It's quite hard.
It is getting harder now as well,
yeah.
I think.
Well, actually, I think it's getting easier, bizarrely.
You think?
Yeah, I think there was definitely a period where I kept thinking, I must...
improve your bust.
Yes, absolutely. I must make the best... the best hand I possibly can each time, and therefore you tend to get the same... cards coming out. Whereas now, I don't know whether I've just relaxed a little bit now. I just want to try. I think I've got Andrew to thank for this. I tried his magic deck, although it did me in. It was just like, actually, this was really fun to play, so I'm going to try and do different things.
I think we definitely try and steer away from making uber decks, and I know some people slate us online for that and say that our decks that we pick are rubbish, and sometimes they are, but we try and do that to make sure that
you've got to experiment.
Yeah, we're trying to do different things all the time, just purely because if we don't, it's just going to be dull.
We'll have the same. I reckon there's probably I don't know. I'd have to look at the Warhammer Underworlds DB, but I reckon there's probably a sort of card pool of 15 objectives and 25 power cards, which everybody takes roughly.
Yeah, and I think of the ban list, of the bar list, there are very specific ones that people always take on there as well. Ready for action, escalation.
That said,
like that.
I can't not take ready for action because it's just too.
Yeah, it's just too good.
Yeah.
So, but then I guess that's how they limit it. They put all these other really juicy cards on there, and then you've got to start choosing. Do you want these other juicy cards, or do you want ready for action?
Jacob got the
cataframe face
that
thing.
is pretty awesome, actually. Yeah,
That would be quite
apart
cool.
from the fact that my wife would leave me if I ever want a divorce, I could go for that.
And I guess as well,
tattoo next
that's generic enough that it's not overtly GW.
No.
It's not like-
Unless he had the Warhammer Shadespire logo in the top right corner as well.
That would be quite amazing. What's that right up there? Oh my god! You put the copyright on it.
Ed says he's got Blood Bowl 2 on Steam.
Cool. I have Blood Bowl.
It was on. He thinks it was on sale. Oh, you've got it already. Okay.
I think I've got it.
Okay.
I think I have.
What do I think is more likely? What do we think is more likely to come out as an individual card pack expansion, a magic-based deck expansion, or a faction-specific only deck expansion? Magic. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't think GW, based on nothing other than my own observations, I don't think GW are remotely interested in pushing the Warband specific angle at the moment. When you get 10 of each card nearly for each of the things for the Warbands, but for the most part they're mostly a bit naff. So I don't think they're that interested in it, and they're more interested in pushing the whole magic angle.
Matt says relic decks are very viable. Spores of Battle, Ghoulish Pact, and all the easy score immediately cards. Yeah, I thought about running one with the Godsworn Hunt as well, because they have 3 options for upgrades, don't they?
They do.
Slay a character.
They've got that sacrifice one.
Yeah. So yeah, and I think
camera signal. Apologies for motion sickness.
Okay, I know John won at the weekend with Goblin Relics.
Oh, he did, yeah.
Yeah. And again, Snurk's probably good for those.
Yeah, once you inspire Snurk, he's rolling 3 defense dice. You start whacking relics on him all over the place, just leave him at the back of the board.
Yeah,
you've got to wade through a mountain.
Might be time to put in Seeking Stones into your deck. Because Seeking Stones doesn't can dodge.
Yeah, I think it is Seeking Stones or something like that. Yeah,
Yep.
So the next question from Andrew Marlowe. We're nearly at the end of his set of questions. Is there anything in Shadespire Underworlds where you think is/promotes a negative play experience?
Pete, it's been there since the beginning.
I think there was the Relics, which encouraged
Matt.
people.
It's almost like Matt knew this question was coming.
Yeah, Relic decks still they are still viable even with what's happened to them.
And I think I guess the score immediately versions and those are more interactive, so they're viable. They're not turtling up and just running away.
Yeah, I don't think there's very much that promotes a negative play experience of the game in general.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, any game's going to have a winner and a loser, and there's always a slight negative aspect to losing the game, but you get used to that after 16 or so losses in a row. So I've been told. I don't think overall, though, there's anything... And I think this is one of the things what I like about the game, is that there's there's nothing really that encourages, to me at least. I mean, obviously, let us know in the chat if you think...
encourages it a little bit. Although I think it's probably past, but I just feel like that.
I think he polarised.
There's a few cards that people. Again, I haven't looked at the meta to see how it's going, but there are a few cards that are just a bit dull, like that stop people from doing stuff. And you put those in because Monologue's so powerful, and I think that's a bit of a shame because it's not. You don't really want Transfixing Stare. Oh, great, I can't move. Which that's not very interesting, is it?
No, really? No. Or there's Frozen in Time.
I've talked about it before. I don't like the 50-50 cards because I think they just and like Rebound. I think Rebound is a negative experience because
there's a lot of people who don't like Rebound.
Yeah, and it is, isn't it? Because it's such a. I know it's swingy and I know it's random and it's far less likely to come off than it's likely to go off.
1/3 chance.
But when it does, it kind of.
It can be a bit of a kick in the teeth.
Yeah, but it's kind of. I guess it's. I don't know. I just feel that can be, and it's not very nice to be rebounded. It's not very nice when you're on the rebound.
No, true.
Yeah,
but overall, I think the game is.
But it comes off so rarely that actually, when we've played it, it actually does. I don't mind too much.
Yeah, I think sometimes we've had it in a best of 3, and it's not worked the whole best of 3.
But then we don't play huge. Like I think when you used it on me, I think it was just it was a Mickey Mouse attack. It wasn't like a massive attack.
Yeah, it wasn't a Monologue one.
Yeah.
I do think that Monologue, when you mentioned him, he did polarise things a bit. Yeah. But luckily, I think. It's kind of.
We haven't played him, so it's difficult to know whether it's a negative experience.
We haven't played him very much, no. But if Molog's on a roll, he will steamroll people.
Yeah.
And if you can't roll for toffee with Molog,
Molog mirror match.
Yeah, that's going to be over really quickly. Which Molog gets to ready for action? The other Molog.
Yeah, or has rebound.
Yeah. Oh, use ready for action and then rebound and die. Oh, Ed says we're nearly at 20 viewers. Woo! We're at 18.
18. That's
dropped down
nearly
16
20.
a minute ago. That's because Ed, you said that you cursed it, Ed. Shh.
It's like when we say, we've got expatrians, and then 3 of you
We got up
leave.
to 50 patches, and now it's come round to the billing. We're
Yeah.
down to 47 because
Yeah.
3 of them have failed. So if you're one of the 3 that have failed, don't leave, please.
Come back.
It'd be nice
We
to have
love
1 month of
you.
just 50 patrons. It'd be a new level for us. And if you could make a version 2.0 of Shadespire, what would you change and why?
Well, there's a more area control I was talking about
Wouldn't
earlier.
it be a 3.0? Aren't we on 2.0?
Technically, yeah.
So
yeah.
what
Could be,
would we like
could
to
be
see
on
in
1.
season
Could be on
3?
1.1, I suppose.
Yeah.
But season 3, I also think there is still scope, and I've said this before. I still think there's scope for having interchangeable characters.
I'd like to see that, either
So
a warband where you have a pool of them that you can pick from, or
yeah,
or just
Or
you can either have
reserves.
A or B.
Yeah.
Or
I mean, nothing too major, and no major changing, but just like you can either for existing warbands, new characters that you can swap out. So this guy replaces Gerzeg, or this guy replaces the champion, or like a warband, like you say, where you get 6 models and you can field whichever 4 of them you like,
yeah,
or something.
yeah, I'd like.
As long as you field the leader, maybe.
Follow the leader, follow the leader. The other one I'd quite like possibly is we're up to 21, but now we're down to 19 again.
That's a good
Because
idea,
Ed said
Matt.
21.
Matt has said, do away with the hold objective 1 to 5 cards and just make that automatic. I really like that idea.
Ooh, so
Yeah.
anybody standing on an
Oh, yeah,
objective
that's
gets
a
a glow. Ooh, I like
That's
that.
a good idea.
Oh, I like
Because they
that,
are
Matt.
crap, those
I like
cards.
that. Yeah,
but
no one
that-
takes them for
No,
things.
no.
I do like that though, and it would
Yeah.
give Fire Slayers a bit of a push.
Mm,
If you
yeah.
want to stand on them anyway, you might as well
Yeah.
get glory for that. I like,
Yeah.
I like that.
That's good.
Oh, I
It's a
like
good
that.
idea,
I
Matt.
like that, Matt. You should
Email
submit that to
Warhammer
GW.
Underworlds. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Warhammer Underworlds team.
Let
It's
GW
the
know.
best idea we've had yet. That's a brilliant idea we had there, Pete.
Yep. Awesome.
You heard it here
Yeah,
first.
here first. We said it. Anything in some Discord that nobody has access to doesn't count. Yeah, I like that one.
And Jacob had an idea for a card where you score 1 glory for each objective you hold. Yeah, that's pretty good too.
like that one as well. Yeah, you could possibly get like a 5 glory stacking in there.
What's it about an objective deck which you draw 3 random cards around and both players can score them? Sort of like Blood Bowl, not Blood Bowl,
Blitz Bowl. Yeah, we have the side cards
Yeah.
and they're open to us. Well, I wonder if that's
I
going to be
played-
something that's
yeah.
going to come out with Dreadfane.
Fine. I played at the weekend, and we were going to talk about UKG a bit later on, but
Yeah.
I played Super Fantasy Brawl, and that has that mechanic in it. So
Super
perhaps-
Fancy Hyper Mega Brawl.
Yeah, we'll talk about that when we get there.
And Tommy on YouTube says, do you think the Warcry Warbands will get rules for Underworlds?
The Warcry.
Yeah, interesting. Maybe
ooh.
it's hard to tell at the minute. There's a
Yeah.
lot of them,
Yeah,
but
and there's
I don't know.
there's a lot of models, aren't there? There's a lot more models.
there are a lot more models,
Yeah.
so it's hard to
So
say on that.
I
one.
reckon there's bound to be representation.
Yes,
I reckon.
I think you're more likely possibly to get the Underworlds or the Shadespire stuff into Warcry
You
than
think?
the other way
Oh, okay.
around.
I was thinking they might do a version of them,
Oh, maybe.
cut down version.
Yeah, they might just do like
Yeah.
a fight, like you have the Warbands in AOS. They might
Depends
do.
how the sprues are arranged, I suppose. Whether they can do that on the
True.
sprues.
That's true. We are looking forward to Warcry. We'll
Yes.
come back to that one.
Yeah, a bit disappointed there was nothing about it at the UKG. It was about the
Ooh.
4th time I mentioned it without talking about it. But yeah, there was nothing that I saw apart from in the announcement they announced the Olgu Crow.
Oh
guys,
yeah,
Crow
the
guys.
bird
Pretty
people,
cool.
the Corvus something or other.
Corex? No, that's somebody else.
Oh yeah. So those are all of Andrew's questions. Hopefully that answered everything for you, Andrew. And moving on to Matthew Martin, he only has one big question: how's the Grand Clash prep going, and what are our plans for that weekend? Anything special besides playing games you're planning on doing? Dice we're going to use? Are we going to bring painted models? So
Yes, I will definitely be bringing, almost definitely be bringing Patreon painted models because I'm
PP.
either going to play Eyes of the Nine painted by Ed, or Godsworn Hunt painted by Rob. So I will definitely be taking painted models. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to play the Thunderers or whatever they're called, the Profiteers. But possibly, and there's no pressure, Brandon. But if Brandon gets them painted, I could take patron painted Profiteers as well. But in fact, I need to take those now. Get on with it because I could take patron painted Profiteers.
The triple P.
Yeah.
I should be taking my Skaven, which I did actually paint myself with my own hands back when we had.
You're so
time.
selfish.
I know.
I've like, reached out for
Well,
the
I was
channel. for
tempted
that
to take the
channel.
Thundrix Profiteers, but I just
Okay.
think I'm going to do vaguely better with the Skaven. I don't know why.
Right, okay.
I probably had on average more success with the Thundrix Profiteers than I had the Skaven ever. And what are our plans for that weekend? Well, we're just going
We're going to the Grand Clash.
We're going to go to the Grand Clash. We
Alright.
probably won't get past the first day.
My plan is to finish not too appallingly, although I was quite pleased if I do take the hunt, the guy who took the hunt, one guy who took the hunt came last, so I can't come last with them. So that was quite good.
Somehow get disqualified.
yeah.
Oh no! So we're probably just going to go down on the Friday night.
Ed's my man.
What did Ed say? An old world Underworlds with Bretonians.
I would love that so much, Ed. I was such
salivate.
a Bretonian fan.
That's why he said it. He knows.
A huge army of Bretonians, and that would be brilliant. It's not going to happen, but it would be brilliant. I mean, I think I would like a free. I think I've said that before. I would like a free people's.
Yeah, never going to get that.
Warband.
It's not IPable enough for them, really.
But anyway,
it's not really fitting into their newer, higher fantasy sort of world of things. But other plans on the day for the Grand Clash. I don't think on the Sunday we'll be doing anything in particular.
No, if there are any tournaments, extra tournaments or side tournaments going on for the people who are disqualified, we'll probably join in with those.
Yeah, we might do those. And if
otherwise,
not,
we'll hang about, go to the museum, have a few drinks.
Yeah, hopefully meet up with some of you lovely people out there, especially all our patroners. Hopefully any of those guys who turn up, we're going to meet up with.
Play some extra games.
Maybe play some friendlies and generally just chit chat.
Yeah.
We won't be in too much of a rush on the Sunday. We'll be there till possibly near closing time. So
what dice are you going to take? I'm going to take black ones and white ones because I'm old school.
Robin's going old school.
That reminds me, I need to order a dice tray.
Oh yeah,
because you've got the leather one.
I have. I've got our lovely one that was made by one of our fans over in Russia.
Yeah,
or it might be Ukraine. That might be a horrible
geographical faux
pas.
Geopolitical scandal on Agents of Sigmar.
Sorry about that, but yeah, I've got a nice leather one that I'm going to be taking, and I'll be taking my green dice because I think they're more Skaven-y. I know they're meant to be the Oryx ones, but I'm taking them for Skaven because greeny warpstone. Yeah. So that's why I'm taking them.
Okay.
So that's hopefully all your questions answered, Matthew. And we're moving on to Rupert. Rupert, I think you're on. Are you online, Rupert, at the minute?
Are you with us?
Are you with us? Can you hear me, mother? Simon does also ask, how are you guys feeling about attending the Grand Clash now? We did answer this briefly earlier, but at the moment, more excited than terrified. Probably rapidly going the other way as we approach the tournament, more terrified and less excited. But I'm still looking forward to it, I think.
Yeah, I am. Jacob has... Rupert's waving. Hello, Rupert. Jacob has said he's only ever played one tourney and he used Godspawn. Super fun to beat meta decks with a real underdog.
Yeah, there is that.
There is that too. You just use Gruul. That would be awesome.
That's one reason why I was thinking of taking the Sepulchral Guard. Because I think the last time around there was one guy there was Sepulchral Guard.
Well, that's partly why I thought I'd take the
hunt.
hunt. Because Davey was the only one at Adepticon to take the hunt, and I thought, I want to be one.
It doesn't matter where you come then, because you were like the best hunt player in the whole tournament, or the best Sepulchral Guard player in the whole tournament. Plus, people look at you when you turn up with Sepulchral Guard, or they go, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Mm-hmm. And Rupert's painting scenery, yes, well scenery. I don't know whether that's he's actually painting a well, or well, comma scenery.
Well.
But Rupert's doing some sort of crazy scenery thing for us. He's the scenery guy.
I
feel like we need to play Warcry for Rupert because actually does have scenery.
Here's approximately £3,000 of scenery, Rupert. Get cracking!
Gruul did land on Stormsire, landing in 3rd place. He killed Stormsire. Gruul is the best fighter. Yes, I quite like Gruul.
We played. You used Gruul with Tomb of Offerings and killed someone.
I did.
Glory.
I did, yeah.
We have a few more questions, as I say, from Rupert. Rupert has asked us three questions.
He says as well.
Good.
Okay, let him ask your questions. I don't think I know the answer to the first question.
So, Rupert, would you recommend a plastic raw plug or a metal one when trying to attach a shelf to a plasterboard wall?
If you've ever seen me do any DIY, you'll know that I have no idea what the answer to that question is.
I have some really nice metal self-boring raw plugs that I sometimes
You've got something
use.
that's self-boring. I can't believe that. I also have similar nice metal raw plugs like that, but I haven't ever done more than put pictures up with them. I've never tried to use shelves on them. So
you end up using this thing that can take like 50 kilos, and you hang this little picture on it.
I did hang out lots of pictures, and none of them have fallen down.
There you go.
But I don't know about shelves.
The wall's mostly fallen down, but there's just this picture on this
I used
stub.
Hammer drill. Hi boys, you wanted an internal window between your bedrooms, didn't you?
I'm sure you'll love it in a few years, especially once you're teenagers. So his next question was contrast paints, current hot topic and shown off at the UKGE.
I did. I got to use them. I should have brought my figure.
Oh, you didn't bring it with you?
No, I didn't. I was a bit uninspired actually. I painted a
Space Marine.
I painted a Space Marine and I painted in blue, but mainly because I wanted to see how it came out.
Yeah.
Because the one guy I spoke to, he said, "Oh, I painted all my Space Marines. I painted every panel a different colour." Which, okay, yeah, that meant you could use a different variety of colours, which is quite a good idea. But actually, I wanted to see how it...
What a Space Marine painted blue looked like. Yeah.
And I realised that actually it wasn't any better than just spraying them blue and putting black wash over them, or blue wash over them.
Or yeah.
So I wasn't sold. I'd like to try them a bit in sort of slightly more or less. Yeah, it was unnatural surroundings, with loads of people around and being quite noisy and trying sort of thinking, I don't want to spend too long because there's people waiting to pay.
Yeah.
But I also found.
I was also screaming, "Don't judge me!"
Yeah, because they're very translucent. If you get paint on the wrong bit, then you kind of have to overpaint it.
You have to go over again with the base coats.
Because I tried to paint them in a similar colour to the ones I did paint when we played.
Yeah.
Which is blue and red. And I just painted them all blue, and then when I tried to put the red over on the red bits, like on the shoulder pads, it didn't work. And so I wasn't. So I could see why they might be useful because they got that kind of glazy, translucent quality to them. But
they're meant to be like 1/10 of the thickness of a base coat.
I'm not sold yet. That said, the Space Marine I was given hadn't quite been sprayed properly either. So,
it's rubbish though.
Yeah, so,
I do think that they will lend themselves, and I've said this in multiple places. I don't think Space Marines are the best things for them because they've got too many flat expanses. Yeah. And I think you want a more biologically shaped, textured model like Dryads. Or Skaven or Nurgle.
And I feel like those kind of matty brown colours will be better for the paints as well.
Think so,
they tend to look better anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm not sold. I would like to try them out a little bit longer, but I'm not a bit further. But I'm not going to buy any, so I probably won't try them out any further.
Unless we get sent some.
Well, yeah, we're not now. I've just said that.
No.
So yeah.
And I think that, like some people have said, I think the guys over.
Rupert was there on Saturday. He didn't get a chance to paint.
Oh, boo.
How is the 30 minutes of game practice? Sorry, this is another question on here from Andrew. How is the 30 minutes of game question practice going? I got an average of 32 minutes. It seems to me that if you're lucky enough to get the third game in a game of 3, you won't be able to play it fully. A damn shame. Yeah, I kind of feel that's certainly where I'm at. Although we've only played that one game, and I was playing with Thundrix who I hadn't played with before.
Yeah, which did add some.
Will add to the time.
Yeah, I do. I think it took us about an hour and 10 minutes ish to play 2 games. Which I don't think is too bad considering we were trying to show off.
Honestly, on here, possibly Nerdy Rob is typing now. Possibly Nerdy Rob is our awesome expert painter, so this may be a comment about contrast paint.
Paints.
I hope it is now, Rob. I've said that. Otherwise, it's just going to be like, I had rissoles for lunch or something. But I think, yeah.
Arseholes for lunch.
Rissoles.
Missiles?
Missile.
Rupert's also said nothing like a pigtail, Pete. I'm not sure what that one means.
No,
I need some clarification. That one a bit more.
Real contrast paint stop people getting better at painting because they have a flat skill ceiling. Does that matter?
Yeah,
Rob, you might have to answer that yourself.
Yeah. What do you think, Rob?
I don't think it will. Because I think you can always, and also they don't do metallics either. So there's always going to be some.
Well, it's meant to help you do non-metal metallics.
Right. Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
because one of the examples on one of their website things has like do NMMs quicker, and then it shows like a Necron who's been done.
It's related to the metal screw fixing. It's called a pigtail.
I did not know.
I see. Yeah, you're just trying to show up our ignorance.
Yeah,
it's not really very difficult. You just ask us about Nightvault.
Exactly.
We do that.
Yeah, we're all screwed. My depth.
So. Yeah, I don't know, Rob, is the answer to that. I don't think it will, because I think people will still want to explore the range. And in some ways, I think it might actually help people get better, because rather than it being a massive cliff on which you have to step onto to start painting, if it gets you going.
You can do that.
And actually, if I just do this, I can improve it slightly.
That next little bit, and then I'll do the next little bit. I do think that you can spend a lot of time with those paints, because there's the model that Mengele Miniatures did, and he'd done a few simple techniques, but he hadn't just slapped paint on and left it. He'd thinned some down and applied slightly different colours to crevices and stuff like that to really bring out the colours. So I do think that it will hopefully give people just a lower first rung of the ladder to grab hold of.
Painted is better than grey, but there is more progress from layering to different kinds of blending. I'm not sure, to be honest. Well, I don't know either. Yeah, I saw that.
But like you say, painted is better than grey. Yeah. So if it can eliminate a chunk of the grey armies out there, then that's.
And I think, because talking about my own experience, because I came back to painting through Zarastro's painting it. And his initial Star Wars ones are very simple to follow, and they do use layering and stuff. So that is a different technique. But I was inspired to get better by having reasonable results in the first place from following his techniques. I think if you can use contrast paint and get a decent result, then you might be inspired to
Go
improve,
on
incrementally improve. Whereas if you just literally, like I say, it's like a big cliff. I've got these grey figures and I don't know how to paint them. Because I find, even though the Games Workshop tutorials, I follow them, but they don't look as good as theirs.
No, they're always like, just put this layer paint on, and then the next scene round is like, there's no way you've just put one.
I think getting paint on your figures is the first step to getting better, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's a bit like anything, really. It's just making that first jump, and if you can make that a softer landing, and contrast paints do that, then I think that can only be a good
Rupert
thing.
says he knows Midwinter Minis is not going to use them, but Pete the Wargamer is doing some excellent stuff on other ways to use them. Haven't watched any of the Pete the Wargamer videos, and I've seen them. I should watch them. I have watched Midwinter Minis' reasons for not using them, and they're pretty valid.
They sound, especially for someone like him. I have watched that video now, and they do seem like valid reasons. Although I think he cites in his video about there being, it's just not going to encourage people to get better.
Oh, did he?
I think he had that in his, and I don't agree with that. I don't think that it will stop people from wanting to be better.
But he makes a valid point, which is actually you can already, with the tool set they already have, you can actually he's shown that with his painting tutorials, you can actually do
pretty good things,
wash. Pretty good things with his.
I mean, things like Agrax Earthshade.
Yeah, exactly. He basically is just, you paint the base colours, you dry brush them, and then you put washes over them. That job's the winner.
And you generally start with lighter base colours, so that once you put a dark wash on it, it brings all the colours down anyway. So it's an interesting one. I wonder how long contrasts will be around for, and I think people will start using them in a way where they'll start incorporating the normal paints with the contrast.
Yes, definitely. And I do feel they've missed a trick maybe, and Midwinter Minis did comment on this, and this was something I was going to say, and I did notice it when I was using them. The lids are a bugger to shut.
Oh, those friggin' lids.
So I think they should have gone for screw tops. Maybe they don't think they need to, because they're not likely to dry out, because they're much more liquid than the base colour paint, which dry out. But you knock them over and you're done. And I actually had to almost, to get my one to shut. And I think that's poor. But I think they should sort that out. Their lids are designed slightly differently. They've got an extra tab on them. I don't know whether that stops paint running down the sides, because sometimes they run down the back, don't they?
Yes.
But I think they missed a trick there, not going to screw lids. And I don't understand what their reluctance is. It's not like they've changed the plastic pot enough times. It's not like it's iconic.
Yes. The pot they've got now is generic.
Yeah.
It's not like the hex ones they had
exactly,
with the screw lid. So I think they do.
Drop her bottle argument incoming.
See, I've put a lot of my paint pots into dropper bottles, used some thinner to transport it across, and it is so much easier to use.
Yeah, I couldn't be asked to do that.
No.
So that's why I've moved to Vallejo. I think we've talked about that before. Jacob says contrast is only a good thing, really. If nothing else, it's just another tool to achieve specific effects. Not everybody wants to get better at painting anyway. That is a good point.
That is a very valid point. I personally am of that group of, I just want to paint a model and get it to a tabletop standard. So if that enables me to do that, I mean, that's generally how I did my Skaven. I just painted them 5 different light base colours, and then I Agrax
and they do look really good,
and they look good enough, good enough for the table.
Yeah, and then Andrew has said, after all these years in GW, still can't design a paint pot top, which isn't a bugger to use.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
there is a place for contrast paints. This is Ed, I think. From what I've seen, they look like strong inks and could be useful. Yeah, I would agree with that.
They're definitely thinner.
Yeah, they definitely have the uses. I'm not sure I'm ever going to need to use them, in the sense that I'm not quite sure how I would.
I don't think anyone's going to be replacing their entire paint set with a whole new.
But what I would like to do, I've got the Middle Earth game. It's quite funny that if I do get the contrast paints, I would like to paint some of those up Midwinter Mini style, some of them Zarastro style, because he's done a quick, which is not quick, guide to painting, and then contrast
Zarastro quick.
Because I think there are 3. I think most of them come in multiples of 3, so it'd be really interesting to do one set in one way, one set the other way, one set the other way, and see which was quickest, see which looks best.
Yeah,
that'd be really good. I'm not sure Games Workshop will go for that, since it's not painting their figures, but
probably not.
Or certainly I would like to use them on if we got Warcry, just to see how they went.
Yes.
Okay, sorry, we diverged onto.
We have diverged a little bit, but we are we have one final question, which is from Rupert, and that is one that you have done a video on, which
I
is
have. We haven't released it yet. I haven't even edited it yet.
Plagiarisms in the Grand Clash, thoughts, in other words, basically net decking or, just using other people's decks to play with. Do we think that that's a good, bad, positive, negative thing at all?
Yes, all of those.
All of them.
I think that there's 14 people watching.
We're down to 14 now.
Nobody wants to talk about paint. I think that
14's still massive for us.
Yes, it is. There's nothing wrong with it. You can't stop it. There's no point in reinventing the wheel.
Also, I mean, that pretty much happens in most competitive scenarios. If you find a thing that works, other people are going to do it.
That's kind of what the meta is, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, in sports, for years, I'm trying to think, there was an example where in a particular sport, some guy started doing this thing differently, and everyone was
the
like...
Frosby flop?
Sorry?
Frosby flop?
Something
high
like
jump?
that.
Everybody used to do a scissor kick, and then he went over backwards.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there's a good example.
Yeah.
That wasn't my example, but there's an example.
Okay.
Some guy just kind of comes up with, actually, it's much easier to do this, or more effective to do that.
Yeah.
And everyone suddenly goes, oh, yeah.
Well, do you remember, this is a naff example, do you remember there was that theory that putting little strips of tape or something on your nose meant you could breathe better?
Yeah.
And suddenly rugby players everywhere had little bits of tape on their nose.
Oh, was that why?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were supposed to open up, I don't know what it was meant to do, but they
Open
all
up your nasal passage or something?
Yeah. And so that's a classic example. Grand Prix, I think, car innovations, I know that some of it's controlled for safety, whatever, the car innovations. The
minute one person goes, we worked out if you actually just use some cardboard here, it's a lot faster.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and it's just as flimsy.
There was like traction control at one point. They introduced something years ago, but suddenly everybody.
Yeah.
So I think it's inevitable.
It's going to happen, and you can't really. Andrew Ross says hello. Ridley Valiant says tuning in late, but hello, my dudes. Hello,
Ridley. I was just thinking today. I hadn't seen you for ages. So I hope you're all right.
Yeah,
there's been. I think somebody's been commenting on old videos, and I know Ridley used to comment on lots, and you haven't so much recently.
Yeah, where have you been?
Yeah.
What have you been doing?
What are we doing wrong?
So I think that net decking and copying winning deck formulas and stuff like that is inevitable.
Yeah, and it kind of goes. This was going back to what I was saying earlier. There's 3 bits to the game. There's the dice, the deck, and the
models.
When they're playing the position.
Yeah.
And so the deck is.
And other people have said this a lot when someone wins and then posts on Facebook, "Hey, I won."
Yeah.
Like the first thing everyone's like gives the deck pick.
Yeah.
And it's like that's only part of the formula. And I think Simon, one of our patrons, says this a lot whenever he gets involved in the argument. He's always like, "Deck's only part of the solution. You've got to know what boards to use. You've got to know what positionings to use. You've got to know what you want to do with your models." So
absolutely.
So I think whilst net decking and that kind of thing is going to happen, I don't think it's a massive problem overall. And in fact, the more people who start doing that and start copying the best deck out there, you're going to be able to then come up with a formula that's going to just trash it.
And I think also that you've always, possibly, not always, but I think whenever I've looked at a deck that's a winning deck, I've always thought I just need to change that because that doesn't suit the way I play. Again, I think we talked about this last month. Victory after Victory seems to be a really popular card. I know I've looked at a lot of Amman's decks in recent weeks, and he often has that card in it. But I
think it depends on your Warband. You need lots of instant scores for that, and I've never had any luck with it. And it could just be that luck.
Yeah, well, it's always come out at the wrong time for me. But I feel like if it's always come out at the wrong time, then there isn't the right time for me. If you see what I mean, the way I play. Yep. So I don't like it. So then you change the card, and there are certain cards that you just like, and you just want to play. You feel comfortable using them. I'm not a big fan of change of tactics, for example, because I find unless I've got a
Unless you've got a card that puts you on guard straight away, it wastes 2 activations.
Yeah.
But it's pretty much a guaranteed instant glory.
Oh yeah, but I don't think it's good economy. I think there are other ways around it. But a lot of people like it.
Possibly.
It's easy.
I take it quite often because it's fairly easy. And another card that I don't see the point in that I've seen lots of people take is Mirror Move. I've never really got the hang of Mirror Move either. But so it's different strokes for different folks really to an extent. And some comments we've posted on YouTube. Ridley said he'll get back on the comment train. Retro J or Retroj, I don't know, Retch something. He says you can't buy your way to victory, but you can get a good start, and that is true. You can't necessarily buy victory, but you might as well stand on the shoulders of giants to get there,
Yeah.
So like you said, don't reinvent the wheel.
No.
And Simon says the problem is people build decks to suit their playstyle. Is that a problem, or is it just...
Well, there's a problem if you're just going to take a deck.
That is true. Yeah, that is.
You found it really much. That's
Very,
good English.
very,
when we did
very, very bad.
did the Aman versus the guy who played Aman in the Netdecking
the
final,
Nightvault one.
his had a very definite play style.
Yeah.
And I think you just picked it up.
I don't think I got it.
Tried to use it, and you had.
Yeah.
I think with a few more games you would have got it. But that guy then he spoke on one of the podcasts.
Yeah.
And he definitely has a very definite
specific
way of looking at the game.
Put these models this place. Do this.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like he seemed to have this kind of probability churning,
matrix.
Kind of game brain. So he was like, well, I need this X, Y, and Z because these are the probabilities of that happening. So then therefore I need to do ABC to make that come off, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which I think without playing with that deck for a long time, you would never.
You won't be in that mindset.
Yeah,
so again, you can copy a deck.
I think some decks are easy to pick up. I think, and I picked up Aman's deck. The beautifully put together that first deck.
Yeah, we scored 12 out of 12.
Yeah, that just plays itself almost. Not quite, but I think that was a really good.
You can pretty much use your objectives to play the game for you almost, and I think that's one of the things about. I think that's what has made Curse Breakers so good, is that they're all casters, which is in most other warbands you've got a caster and that's it, and that gives you a natural breaking point to Magic. Not breaking as in it breaks the game, but stops you from abusing it too much. Whereas all of Stormsire's lot can cast spells.
Yeah, exactly. So you've kind of got. Yeah, you're right.
And they've got a much easier Inspire mechanic, I think, which also improves them at the same time. So, yeah. And Simon says Mirror Move is really good against the likes of Mollog. Mollog? Really? Who has a push mechanic? I guess the person using Mollog is going to use push things to get him across the board more, and you can use that to get out of his way. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Andrew also says, surely we're both big fans of Duel of Wits and improvisation.
Not sold on it, Andrew.
I don't think Robin's still sold, and I think I'm probably more of a fan of improvisation over Duel of Wits these days, because with more magic bouncing around, you have less options for using Duel of Wits.
I've become more of a convert to 10 and 10.
To what?
10 and 10. Just 10 10.
Oh, yeah, there is that.
I just... Duel of Wits are quite like, but it doesn't quite... Yeah, but if I went for 11, if I wanted an extra upgrade, I'd probably have it. Improvisation, again, it's kind of like the times I've used it, I've ended up
it's really been the worst scenario.
Not wanting to use it, if you see what I mean. So
whereas I've had it in that perfect scenario where I've dumped some cards I didn't want, picked up some really useful cards.
It stops you losing the game.
And helped me win a game. So, I'm all for improvisation. And Ridley says, by good you mean dull.
Is that Mirror Move? All the best warbands and midgets with beards. Ridley's back on the comment train. I'm not sure that's a good thing.
Midgets with beards, that's a terrifying thing. I think there's always going to be an aspect of good equals boring, because sometimes some of the more effective, more efficient plays are going to be maybe duller.
Sounds like an argument I have with my wife.
I think there's always going to be an element there of I can do it. It was like when the Relic decks came out, dull as anything to watch and play, but super efficient at actually just burning through, getting glory. And we played a mock game of that once, and it was fast. If nothing else, it was fun to play. But
you will probably always get through your 3 games if you'd play.
Yes,
play those. In theory, you probably only want to have 2.
But how many of you people out there have played tournaments and have found that 90 minutes was ample time to play 3 whole games without really terror sweating? Because I don't think it's really enough. I think 90 minutes just doesn't feel like enough for 3 games. It doesn't help that it takes us 75 minutes to play 1 game when we're recording it. But I just feel like
3 games. I think I'll be hard pushed to get 3 games.
3 games is going to be tough
unless things go catastrophically right or catastrophically wrong.
Yeah, I guess if you either lose 2 games in a row or we win 2 games in a row, then you're okay.
Matt says here. Does that mean you have done it, Matt? Or do you want to be part of the cult? There's also in the Patreon discussion. There's been talk of us being in a
Oh yeah,
a cultural
it's a pyramid scheme. It's definitely a pyramid scheme.
Yeah,
And the more of you that can get other people in, obviously you're going to get better benefits. So.
exactly. Yeah,
But the main thing to take away from it is it's not a pyramid scheme, and that is the thing that if it's a pyramid scheme, that's what they'll tell you. That it's not.
it's not a pyramid scheme.
Definitely not a pyramid scheme.
It's a high yield something or other.
Investment
Yeah.
opportunity.
Here, especially if one player wins the first two back to back, no need to play the third game. Well, yes. Well,
Yes,
I think
yeah.
the other thing is if it's a draw, then the games are likely to have been close, because it's quite unusual that
Yeah.
that you get one each, and it does happen, but you get steamrolled. Both games are steamrolled in the opposite direction. So then, when the games are closer, they take longer because you need to think more.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
therefore, the first two games, when it's 1-1, take longer anyway. I think. And then,
Possibly.
the third game, there isn't much time for. But yeah, I can see if you win the first two games, getting it done in 90 minutes it should be a breeze, especially if you know your deck.
Simon says we just have to remember that we're not recording, so we've not got the time delays like when recording. There is
That
an
is
aspect
true.
to that we do.
Just suddenly say, "Oh, sorry, should we just do that again?" Because I talked over you.
Again, no, we're not recording. Your opponent's gonna be sitting there going, "You what, mate?"
yeah. And I start by going, "Hello, AOS fans."
Your opponent's gonna be going,
What if we draw each other?
telly. Oh yeah, if we draw each other, that'd be brilliant. We'll only get one game in. But maybe other people just come and watch.
If you know your deck, you don't waste much time. Also, if you're very comfortable with your Warband and fighters, you mostly know what you want to do. Yes, that's true.
There is that aspect.
And
to
we will be playing fairly
Some of the games might get a bit samey in the lead up because we might start playing.
the same Warbands.
Yeah, we've got a. We obviously don't want to just keep playing against each other.
No.
So we'll have to take it in turns using our Warband versus a random opponent deck of some kind.
Yeah.
But
I
we
think we're
also
going
need
to try and play against Curse Breakers. And that may I'm wondering whether Guardians now, after this last game clash, I was thinking we'd have to play against Curse Breakers and Moloch to see how it went. But now maybe Guardians. Although I think Guardians, I think I would need different tactics from Moloch, whereas Guardians, I think my tactics will mostly be the same.
I think with Guardians, yeah, they're going to be the same as a lot of other harder to kill warbands, which is you just want to, especially if you hunt deck, which is all out offense. And I've got a particular trick with my Skaven, which means that I don't think it matters who I'm playing.
Now, Andrew's given me a brilliant idea for an Agents of Sigmar based Grand Clash.
Double.
He's basically said, true, but it doesn't leave much time to actually talk to the opponent. Maybe I just like a chinwag. So maybe we'll do our own tournament where it's like 180-minute rounds. But you get extra points if you can name like 3 unique facts about your opponent. Which does make it sound a little bit like speed dating. But
Frank likes to go on holiday. Which coastal resort is it? Yeah, there could be an aspect to that. I mean, obviously 180 minutes is maybe too much. But I just feel like a 2-hour chunk, I guess you've got to weigh off against the fact that quite often it's not going to be 3 games, it's just going to be 2.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can see
We're
Terrace
going to lose
in.
quickly. Rob says, are you going to make the tournament at Bad Moon, Pete?
Am I going to do what?
Are you going to make the tournament at Bad Moon, which is on the 16th
Oh,
of June?
this is on the 16th of June. I'm not 100% sure because it's a Sunday. And I'm saying that like it's any different to any other.
On a Sunday.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying that like it makes a difference, like that's, any other day would be easier for me. Like none of them are easy.
Yeah.
So I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to be able to make that one or not. I'd like to go because it is actually relatively close for me. But
Which, for those of you not watching in Britain, that means no.
It's a bit like when you invite people to a party that will say no. You invite them because they'll say no, and you've gone through the motions.
Warbands you play do not really affect the enjoyment of the battle rep. Cheers, Jacob. Thank you very much. Unless Moloch is there. Matt likes a good conversation too, but at a tournament, I'm trying to win and not chat as much.
Yeah, that's going to throw me.
Underworld speed dating sounds like a license to print money. As long as everybody fancies men with beards, then we'll be all right. True enough.
Who doesn't fancy a man?
Well, I do. I just can't help it. It's the magnetism, animal magnetism. True enough, though, I imagine that the chance of playing 3 games is pretty slim, so the last 20 odd minutes can be spent talking.
There is that aspect. Although I am going to struggle with not being chatty with my opponent when I'm playing the game.
Yeah.
Be like, all right, how are you? Where you from? They're going to be like, shove and put your board down. Come on. Time is money, loser. And I'm just be like, this is really mean to me. I don't know how I'm going to cope. It'll be interesting. Maybe I'll just become that focused guy when I get there. They'd be like, "Oh, you're on that. Shut up and put the board down." I'm sorry. Are you Pete or Robin? Shut up and put the board down. I'm Robin. You. If you're going to problem, it's my phone number. All right. Ring me at 2 a.m. That's when I'm awake. We've got some YouTube comments as well. Simon says...
There's 3 people typing at once on Discord.
God, everyone's typing everywhere. We've got 18 people watching. I thought it was just quieting down. It was time to wind up. It's all gone mental. Simon says... having started on my YouTube journey, understand that fully. Let us know what channel you've created. So it'd be interesting to watch that. I do like to watch what everybody else is putting out when I get a chance. Breck says, thanks for the videos. I'm watching from Memphis, Tennessee. I just went second at my local Underworlds tournament with my gits and wouldn't be where I am with them today if it were not for you guys. We'll take that as a glowing feedback, and I'm going to take that as a by proxy win. I came second. You haven't been played in the tournament? No, but someone I know through my YouTube channel did, so that counts. And Simon then asked, a quick thing I usually do in the run-up to any tournament is do a bit of gauntlet against some of the better deck lists. We're probably going to try and possibly to make our lives easier when one person's playing their tournament list or whatever deck they're taking to the tournament, the other person might just grab a deck.
Try and get one.
We'll probably net deck.
Yeah, I was going to get a decent Curse Breakers deck.
Yeah, that's probably going to be our go-to method, so that we can just see how they fare against some of the tougher decks out there. Although we have discussed the pitfalls of net decking, you're not going to know the strategy, but hopefully some of them are going to be fairly straightforward, like Mollog and stuff like that's going to be pretty easy to know. Simon Lee shouted, Cornwall. The answer I was looking for was Margate. Sorry. Magaluf. Nightvault put me back in the hobby after 15 years.
Imagine that you managed to play against Robin and Pete in the Grand Clash and they turned out to be really rude people.
Well, my fear...
It's when we get there and find out somebody's been impersonating us at previous Grand Clashes.
Who are you? I'm Pete. You're fucking nuts. Yes, I am. Look, I've got a beard and everything. And I'm only 4'2". Oh dear. I am actually worried that we're going to go to the Grand Clash, be absolutely terrible.
And nobody will ever watch us again.
Come joint last. And every video we release after that, people are like, who's going to listen to you? You didn't win one game. 0 glory count. You guys suck.
Yeah.
That's my fear.
But we can have to change it to what not to do with Rob and Pete.
Here's how
you can always spin it.
Play.
You can always spin it.
I think some of our supporters will watch us anyway because they're beautiful, beautiful
people.
They are
lovely people.
And they like the bants.
Yes, I hate that word.
I know. David Christie on YouTube says, Nightvault put him back in the hobby after 15 years. He's had a hard time to appreciate the Curse Breakers and the like, too much Space Marine like. And he then also asked, did they totally drop the Warhammer Empire Renaissance style? So, the old world is gone. There is no old world.
They've gone high fantasy.
Robin wrote a thing about that a couple of years ago. A Foolish New World, I think it was called. And for better or worse, we now don't have the old world anymore, unless you play any of their online content. All their online content seems to still be the old world.
We tried that new game. We got early access to a new game.
I don't really understand it. It just keeps telling me everything to do, so I just keep doing what it tells me.
Yeah, it's not that interesting. Really. Command and Conquer or something. It's not called that. But
no.
I think it's just a reskin Conquest. Lord's Mobile or something.
It doesn't really make sense to me. No, I'm afraid of that and show my age. But unfortunately, there is no old world anymore.
No, it's gone.
It's gone. It's dead.
Unless you play Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, which is a neat segue into the UKGE. See what I did there.
But Dave Christie also did say, just before we go on to that, he's struggling to appreciate the Curse Breaks and stuff too, Space Marine. Like, I think a lot of people have said that Stormcast in general are a bit Space Marine-y.
Yeah.
And
Sigmarines
is quite often, yes.
But after
15 years...
Mad Knobs, hello.
Boss Mad Knobs, hello. But yes, Dave Christie, welcome back to the hobby after 15 years. I think we both have probably come back to the hobby.
Really.
After a fairly large hiatus.
Probably was long. Might have been longer than that. Kind of.
I remember
touched on the edges.
I remember selling both of I had a Guard army and a Skaven army, and I remember getting rid of those when my eldest was about 2, and he's 11 now.
Yeah.
So
when I sold a lot of stuff, and mine was about that age, but I wasn't playing the game long before that.
No, I probably wasn't playing for a year or so before that either. So yeah, it's been probably double digits for us too. So welcome back.
Yes,
this is one of the good things about Nightvault and Underworlds.
Well, I think it does fit in with modern life a bit more betterer.
Yes, and Ridley says there is an old world in our hearts.
Yeah.
Never forget. So, a
Yeah.
little segue then to
Yes. Well, I
UKGE.
did chat with the guys from Cubicle 7, who are the people who make all sorts of Warhammer-based role-playing games, because they now have the distribution rights for Wrath of Glory, which is the 40k game, which I had a little look at the box, very nice. And they have the distribution, and they do Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. They've rewritten the fourth edition, which is great, I think. And they're bringing out loads of stuff for that as a starter set, which I'm hopefully going to get hold of and get to play soon, which would be good. But perhaps more interestingly, which I didn't expect to say, they're actually bringing out the Agents of Sigmar role-playing game.
That would be the best game. Who are you going to be, Robin or Pete? Oh, fine, I'll be Robin. Okay, well, you don't got to spend the next 6
Terrible
hours.
puns, overthinking things.
Roll the dice. Well, what do I have to get? Doesn't matter. You're going to spend the next 3 hours doing housework. Well, I'll be Pete then. All right, roll the dice. What'd you roll? 6. Again, it doesn't matter. You're going to spend the next 2 hours on a train.
Yeah, or you have to redo it and over and over again to get it right. Anyway, we've digressed. So they're going to do the AOS role-playing game, which I was sort of interested in to see how they would actually make it work, because the realms in I keep doing it in Age of Sigmar is a bit kind of mad. But they kind of seem to have a handle on that. But then they've got this interesting D6 mechanic, which is like you
get
just roll
values.
D6s.
Yeah, so your stat will be 3, and that's roll 3 d6,
Yeah,
and then you add that together.
You have to get so many 5s to be in excess, or so many.
Or you have to get a sum total of over 20 or something.
I don't think it's going to work like that. I think it's going to basically, you have to get, so you're going to use your might or whatever, and you have to get X number of successes, and the GM defines success. The success is 5, so you roll 3d6. You need to get 1 5, or it might be 3 2s. So it's an interesting way of changing the odds. So I'm quite interested in that. So I'm quite pleased with what Cubicle 7 are doing. They didn't have very much new stuff on display though, which was a little bit disappointing. So you couldn't see any of the soulbound
It's annoying when you turn up for UKG and nobody's got anything new there at all.
No, the Cubicle 7 that is.
So, yeah, I know, but
yeah, obviously they had the Wrath and Glory stuff, which I don't really have time to get into, and they had the new starter set, which I've sort of seen. So I didn't need to see that. I kind
of want to find out, what does a Stormcast fighter do when he's not in the middle of a battle, knee deep in chaos scum? Yeah, he's smashing with his.
Well, also who makes the food?
Yeah,
where do they get it from?
They kind of detailed that in one of them.
How do you grow bread? How do you make bread in the realm of fire?
Well, I read a thing which was basically each of the realms is like a big disc.
Yeah,
and it only gets crazy out when you get towards the edges of the disc. So when you get into the inner worlds, or the inner portion of those worlds, it's like normal world, maybe with a few oddities, like it might rain broadswords every now and then or something, but for the most part it's more normal. So just peasants go around their normal lives and grow their crops and all that nonsense, and for the most part you'd have to travel for a huge amount of time to be able to cross the realm and to get into the crazy zones beyond it where all the fighting kicks in. But what does a Stormcast do when he's not going around smiting chaos all the time? Does he just, does he go to a tavern and drink ale? I don't.
Well, I originally thought they were just kind of not spirits exactly, but I've just kind of spirit infused armour.
Yeah,
so they could drink out, but they would just walk
just
all
go
over the
through.
floor.
It'd be like Bednos and Broomsticks.
Yeah.
I did wonder that, but it turns out they're just normal people who just keep getting reforged, but they become a bit more blank each time, a bit more sort of carbon copy.
A bit like us on Game 3. Yeah.
But what's the Fire Slave doing?
We've fun enough, our role playing idea has spawned some questions. Who would have the highest charisma score? Question of the night goes to Rupert. I'll come back to that question. Who has the skimpiest outfit? That is Pete. The bra of critical success does not work when equipped on Pete. I'm not sure what that meant to mean. Can you imagine needing a P? Can you imagine needing a P with all that armour on? I don't think they're talking about us now. But the question of the night goes to Rupert, which Andrew thinks is the question of the night. Is what do your kids think of their YouTube dads?
I don't think my kid sees me any differently, because my sons don't watch any of what I do and aren't interested in the hobby.
My kids are a little bit interested and they kind of like it. My son occasionally, my oldest, he's nearly 14. He will occasionally look at the stats and things and go, you've got so many viewers on this video, and you've got. He gets excited by the subscriber number.
Good lad.
Yeah, so I think he secretly likes it, but I don't imagine he tells any of his friends.
No. Oh God, Dad, you're so embarrassing.
Exactly. Yeah.
My
I think if anybody found out, and then they started showing it around school.
Yeah.
I think you probably get a bit embarrassed. Probably,
Yeah.
maybe, I don't know. He's
Maybe.
easily embarrassed. He's easily embarrassed.
I think kids are easily embarrassed by their parents anyway, to be fair.
Yeah.
My oldest, every now and then he talks about wanting to stream videos, like he watches a lot of people playing Fortnite and stuff, and every now and then he talks about wanting to stream Fortnite videos online, which I don't mind so much because you can't see him in those videos.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, do you realise what kind of rig you've got to have set up to be able to
my
do
son's the
that?
same. He was going to do 40k battle reports,
Oh, really?
but he didn't play 40k. So I was like, well, you probably need to learn the rules before you start.
And have at least 2 armies
Yeah.
and a whole
Yeah.
bunch of painted terrain.
Yeah, exactly. So I wasn't that, but I said, well, why don't we start with Kill Team?
Yeah, yeah.
Because, so yeah, he was keen on that.
Oh, did
idea.
you buy that and
And I
then
bought the elite,
Oh,
not the
so,
arena box. I thought, well, that's a small scale, but then he wasn't interested.
he's already on to the next thing?
He's
Now,
already-
now he wants to be
yeah,
a
yeah.
rock star.
Yeah, no,
or-
basically, he doesn't play the drums.
Oh,
Actually,
that's-
so that's more. That's actually more likely.
And Dave Christie obviously points out that what they do in the downtime is they watch Agents of Sigmar. Damn right, that's what they do. And who wouldn't want a YouTube celery as a father? I don't know. Having a vegetable as a father could be quite a horrific
YouTube
experience.
celery, yeah.
I don't think you meant to type that, Ridley.
Maybe he did. To be honest, we're more of a celery than we are a celebrity.
Yeah.
Although I have now had one person come up to me.
You have?
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
that to happen to me.
I think Ed asked somewhere, and I don't know where he asked it. It might have been right at the beginning of the live chat. What my favourite thing at the UKGE
Oh, yeah,
was.
yeah.
And I think I met a guy. I met 2 things. I think
Yeah, he did mean to put celery.
he met. I met rather a guy called it was a company called Rudy Gage, which is a small German company, and they make really fun kids games which are app enabled, and they kind of, but they put the app. He says the app's at the centre of the game, so because he said when you say to kids, "Come and do this," put your phone down, they're like,
Oh, God.
yeah. But if you say, "Do this," bring your phone with you because we need it.
Download an app.
Yeah, then
Right.
they're like, oh, they can't really say no because it's quite hard to say no to somebody. Come and join in and do this with us.
Yeah.
So that's and he was really passionate about what he did. I really like their games. I'm hopefully going to review a couple in the future. So they were.
I remember for a while there was I think it was Angry Birds. You could buy these little things and you put them on the camera,
Yeah.
and it's sort of, there was obviously a QR code or something in
there was.
that it scanned, and that
Yeah.
put the thing into the game.
Yeah.
And they've done it with the Wii U, obviously, and stuff like
Yeah.
that, where they have the platforms for
They
Skylands.
kind of
and
died
things, and
away.
you put the things
They
on
died
them, and
away.
they sort of get summoned.
I thought
into
they
the
had
game.
massive possibilities for role playing games.
Yeah.
Like get the
Yeah.
miniatures, put them in the game, but they've
Doesn't
kind of
seem to really have gone.
But this is
yeah.
kind of different. This is kind of the app will bring in random events into the game,
Oh, cool.
which change the board state, and then you do the scoring on the app as you go.
I think that
So that was good. That was Rudy Game. So we'll pick out some of those things, and then the other thing that was interesting was this super fantasy brawl, which is kind of it's by Mythic Games, who make Solomon Kane and Joan of Arc. They're one of these kind of smaller Kickstarter companies that make occasionally lots of miniatures, but the miniatures in this are bigger scale than Nightvault.
right.
So they're probably 40mm maybe. I'm not sure what scale they are. They're big miniatures. I put some pictures on the Facebook.
So this is the
page.
super hyper global mega mark.
And it's got a hexagonal board, a bit like Shadespire.
It's in like a not a dungeon, but in
it's like
an arena.
arena.
Yeah.
There's an arena and there are traps, and you have each. So I think the starter set is you get 2 warbands. You've got 3 models each, and you have a set of cards which is the same for each. Well, the same for each, but you always use that set of cards. There's no
Yeah.
deck building.
Yeah.
And you have 3 activations. Each of your turns has 3 activations that you can use, and then you can use the red one. You can only use the red cards. You use the blue one. You can only use the blue cards.
Right.
And the blue and there's one colour card for each, but you don't have all the cards at once, so you're not be able to use the card that you want, and you just fight basically. And it's pretty. The miniatures are very nice. It's pretty nifty.
I do think that there is a drive these days towards faster to play games.
Yeah, I think there is.
Both from a adult parent point of view, but also I think kids these days, with screens and with apps
Yeah.
and with online gaming and stuff, it's incredibly fast to get into something. You know, if a kid has Fortnite, they want to go play Fortnite. Within a minute, they'll be online playing.
Well,
and
actually,
if you
that's
tell
one
them,
of these
right, all
things
we got to do is spend the first 45 minutes making a deck up.
Yeah.
Kids are going to be like, I'm already out.
Yeah, that was one of the things the Rudy guy said. Actually,
Yeah.
he said all of his games are designed to be able to just the kids ones. It's got a complicated war game as well, but the kids ones, they're all designed to be played straight out of the box with you don't even need the rule book.
Yeah.
The app, the phone does it, tells you what to do.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you want, really. I tried to at the weekend play a game of Keyforge with my oldest, and I got about 5 minutes into it, and I was like, "Do you just want to play Uno instead?" And he was like, "Yeah, let's play Uno." Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
A couple of questions on YouTube. Redley did point out that we're not at 50k subs yet, so we aren't celebrities, we're still celeries, as he did point out to me when we briefly met that time when he gifted us those the cards. Thank you very much for those. Those were awesome. And Squig Boss Madnob says, "Do you gits have an Instagram?" We don't. Well, yes, we do have an Instagram, don't we?
We do, yes. Yeah, Agents of Sigmar.
Robin set it up for us.
Yeah. And Jacob has said if he's just rushed. I'll come back to that, Jacob. Rupert says, "Did you see the one based on the periodic table?" Yes, I did, and I chatted to the guy, and I'm hopefully going to review that too. As people might know, I love the periodic table. So yes, I did see that.
Robin and the periodic table.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought?
And Ed saw the brawl cabinet, looks really nice. Didn't get a demo though. Well, I did get a demo with a very nice guy, and I chatted to their marketing guy, and he's very keen to work with us post Kickstarter. He's going to do a very hasty Kickstarter, but then there's going to be a longish pledge manager.
Oh yeah, there's quite an extended period after that.
Yeah, so
it's getting that balance between getting it kickstarted quickly so you can get the ball running, but not.
And then it's going to retail in January. So he's quite keen to work with us.
Okay.
So
then maybe see some of that.
Some of that, because it's quite quick and there's no deck building, so it's quite good in that respect. And the models are quite nice. So that will have seasons, and they want to have competitive play. So
thank you for pointing out our Instagram, Ed.
Oh yeah,
that was very helpful.
Thank you, Ed. And he's only done that because he's got his models on it as the last picture. And then Jacob has said he's only just realised if Ready for Action is banned, what are you two going to sing mid-game? Well, we could sing most things. We could put most things to song.
We generally do it at some point.
We managed to get UR25 to song in the Blackstone Fortress. As song, as Blackstone Fortress video to be released later in the week.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I was pushed for making a statement at one point, but it's not quite the same, is it?
Not quite the same.
So I don't know. Well, who knows? Who knows what the new cards will bring?
I wonder if it'll get banned. Really, I mean, I think it's more likely that Ready for Action will get. Season 1 will go out, and season 3 will
still
come
be
in
in
and
the same problem, won't we?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think that's more like to happen. But I think that's way off.
I'm a bit worried that there's going to be a ban list or a new change in the next couple of weeks, and that's going to really screw up our preparations for the Grand Clash.
Yeah,
and everybody's, but we're in the same boat. But
but they're better than us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, any suggestions for cards we could sing? I'm not sure. It's the same.
We'll have to do it. We should do a competition on Twitter.
Oh.
What card song combinations could the Agents of Sigmar sing instead of Ready for Action? We'll have to get that one, make that viral. we'll have to tweet that and get everyone involved.
It's whether we go with the same riff or do we find a whole new.
I think you've got to try and come up with something new, man.
Yeah.
You've just got to come up with something new.
Yeah, okay.
Well, we got rid of Navia Bites the Dust.
Navia, but we don't play.
Boom, boom. Navia Bites the Dust.
But we don't play them often enough.
No, that's true.
Ready for Action gets played every week.
Every week.
If those of you do go to tournaments, do people sing it at tournaments?
Yeah,
that's why.
Does anybody sing that? Has anybody heard anybody say?
Andrew says escalation. Yeah, we have
that one quite often.
I think we do that quite often. Yeah.
Or actually, I prefer escalation time. Come on.
Yeah, that'll work. Yeah.
Do. That'll probably get banned too as well at the same time as Ready for Action. That is the thing I'm most looking forward to at the Grand Clash is maybe meeting people that are going to go, "You're one of the Agents of Sigmar. I fucking hate you." or actually hearing somebody say, "Ready for Action."
Yeah.
I do remember watching a YouTube channel and somebody was calling their Skaven Festus and stuff, and I was like, "That's mine." I'm like, "Yeah, sorry, I like your channel, so I stole it." I'm like, "Yeah, that's cool. I like that. I don't mind that at all." So I think we're done.
So it's approaching 10:30. Has anybody got any extra things?
Any last
Jacob sang it at a tournament, much to the despair of the other player.
Excellent. Who was the other player?
To the despair of the other player, or they? Yeah.
Were they? Oh God, you watched that crappy channel, or oh my God, that's the 16th time today I've heard that.
Jacob says it just slipped out.
Well, I get that a lot. Oh dear.
And on that note,
I do think. I will be interested to see just what kind of recognition we might get there. Not from I mean, it's a bit big-headed and a bit narcissistic of me, but I am interested to see just how much people rate us in the community when we get there, and anybody who's going to come and say, oh yeah, I like your channel. We've already had people on here we've helped them get to the finals in tournament, so you know what, that's good enough for me.
Yeah, but they're all your sock puppet accounts, so they don't really count when you just be like, I think Pete's amazing.
That counts. Shut up. Anonymous Jeff has just turned up for the last 2 minutes. Hi Jeff.
Hey Jeff.
Bye Jeff. Don't worry, it will all be available to view hopefully from tomorrow onwards for anything you may have missed, which is everything.
Rupert says, I reckon to get a lot. We're known in the local GW store. I did get to meet Nick, and he knew who I was.
Oh,
yeah, from the community.
Is that
team.
because he saw you approaching, turned around, and ran away?
Yeah, no, I introduced myself, and he said, "Oh yeah, I know who you are," because he could have been lying.
Oh yeah, you're on the band list. Awesome. Nice to meet you. I'm just going to go over here. I think
he's very tall. He's surprisingly tall.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't be doing that.
He's even taller than Ed, who's significantly taller than me.
Oh, for the love of God, why have we all got to be tall?
That's how they build the youth these days.
Bloody hell! I'm going to have to get some stilts or some platform
or just play
shoes.
dwarfs. Embrace it.
Just embrace it. Grow the beard out.
Yeah.
Won't get it cut again before we go. I'll just play dwarves. So thank you all guys for tuning in. Anybody who's been here from the start, anybody who's just joined, Jeff.
Yeah, we'll see you at the Clash, Jeff, definitely.
Yeah, Jeff, you're at the Clash, aren't you? Anybody else going to be at the Clash? We'll try and put some stuff out nearer the time to say where we'll be and when, but hopefully you'll just be able to spot us because everybody knows what we look like, and I don't know what any of them look like. So that's going to be the rather weird part. If anybody says and goes, "You're Pete," and we're like, "Who are you? Get away!"
Well, the guy who I met who said, "Oh, you're Robin from Agents of Sigmar," at the UKGE, I kind of assumed he was somebody who commented on the videos, so I knew he probably wasn't a patron.
Yeah,
he'd probably say, "Oh," but he didn't say who he was, so I was expecting him to say, "Oh, I'm Ridley," or "I'm Squig Boss Mad Knobs," and he didn't say anything. So I was like, "Oh well."
Dwarf. Anonymous Jeff asks how tall I am. Well, let me get off the chair and I'll show you. Oh.
Very good.
I'm joking, of course. I am a whopping 5'6".
Yes.
All 5'6" me. I'm a very tall dwarf.
And I'm 5'11", so I'm not short, but I'm not tall.
5'11" though, but you're so far from being 6 foot, it's not even worth considering you.
So, yeah.
So yeah, if anybody does want to look for me, look down. And try not to tread on me.
It's very easy to look down on Pete, to be fair.
I just want to come higher than you in the tournament now. I don't care if that's like 120 out of 122, as long as you're 121.
Yeah. I just blame you. I'm taking the Godsworn home.
So that's us, guys. We are going to sign off now. Thank you to all
Cheers,
of you
guys.
for watching us, for asking all your questions. And we shall see you soon on the Agents of Sigmar in the Mirrored City.
Yes, of course, just for our preparations of the Grand Clash, we're playing Blackstone Fortress this week. So
yeah.
not helping the schedule. Anyway, yeah, so
we'll be
we'll be
soon.
back soon.